Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This is FirmFatherhood. My name is Stephen Worthy, and I'm here with my partner.
E-Dub,
What's going on with you today, brother?
what's happening with you, man?
Man, nothing much, man. Nothing much. Want to kind of jump on here and kind of hammer down some of the things that we've been talking about here lately with co-parenting. We got a three-part series that we're going to kind of jump into so that we can kind of get a basis of what we got going on, what we're doing, what we're talking about, and we're going to break this thing down so it's understandable for everybody, right?
Yes, sir. Okay, sounds good. Three-part series on co-parenting.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive into it. Today's topic, we're going to be discussing when does communication stop being about the child and start being about control. Seems
Hmm.
like a lot of parents will say, I'm just protecting my child, or I'm just doing this for my baby. But protection, and gatekeeping, aren't they the same thing?
I think they are very similar. You kind of get into situations to where you are trying to keep the other parent away because you have deemed them to be dangerous or not safe, or if the baby is out of your sight, then that just can't be. It's always got to be on your terms. But in a co-parenting situation, we all know it's never just on one person's terms. That's not really how it works. And if you really were to ask me, sir, I would tell you that if we were big and grown enough to sit down or lay down and make a baby together, and you would think that you would trust or be able to trust the fact that if the baby was me, the baby's going to be okay. If the baby with you, then I have to trust that the baby's going to be okay. I can't babysit you, and you can't babysit me when we're, having the kid or having the child on our own. So how does that even work out? That seems like a stressful situation, right?
Yeah, it is absolutely a stressful situation. So they are not the same.
Mm,
Controlling, while communication or control when co-parenting turns toxic, that is the conversation for the day. So if you ever wondered whether limiting communication is actual peace or just avoidance, this is a conversation for you. A lot of times, we ghost people. We don't want to talk to them,
hmm
texting this, that, and the third. Nah, I ain't gonna deal with her, not right now. And that's okay for your own mental anguish or whatever. But you
hmm
cannot just ghost them and keep them on pause. Like, no, you have to table the conversation, but you got to pick it back up. So
Right.
these are some of the things that we're going to be talking about in this short series today.
Yeah. And we want to be clear. We're not here to bash either parent. We're here to talk about, accountability, maturity, and what healthy co-parenting actually looks like. This isn't something that we're putting all on the mothers or that we even talking about as all fathers. This is a situation to where you have two parties with two points of views and two different ways of looking at things. So we have to do this fairly, which is what we're going to do today.
Yeah, so right up and down the middle on this thing. We're gonna
Right.
try to be at least.
Right. It's coming from our perspective, but
All
we know
right.
what to do. We know what fair looks like, on both
Absolutely.
sides. Yeah. Yeah. So,
All right, so let's start with the phrase we hear all the time. I'm just protecting my child.
mhm.
What point does that turn into gatekeeping?
Protection is about safety. Gatekeeping is about power. Protection asks if the child is safe. Gatekeeping asks who gets access. So, like you said, man, they're two different things. They're not one and the same. They're not synonymous at all.
So they shouldn't be concerned with who's around the child, but more so what's around the child. Is that what I'm
Right.
getting from you?
Right.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
There's situations to where um, you see something that's not safe to you, or on either side of the fence, whether it be mother or father, that's a communication thing. That's a conversation, right? And I don't really like this. Makes me feel a certain type of way as far as being around my kid when you are approach the situation in a mature type of way, so that you can have a conversation. Those things turn out to be okay. Well, let's work something out that both of us feel comfortable with. But when you are doing things to be spiteful, to be mean, to be evil, to play keep away, those when things go bad really quickly.
So it sounds like one parent may be not including the other parent in the decisions as
Hmm.
opposed. So they're pretty much making decisions around the other parent,
Right,
leaving them in
right.
the dark, not really shedding light on in the entirety of the situation.
Right,
Is
right.
that what you think?
That's usually how it goes. And like I said, that leads to a lot of bickering and fighting and going back and forth. Again, parenting is it is stressful enough, and then you put something else on top of it. Um, you know, that gatekeeping and that playing keep away that directly affects the child, and he or she is seeing how you are communicating with one another, and they duplicate those same communication styles. And, it makes it difficult for them to communicate with you, with anybody for that matter, which makes it even more difficult for them in this world going forward in the future.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. That
yeah,
trust is broken at
yeah,
a young age.
hmm,
It's hard to rebuild that, and it's unfair for their significant other when they get older to have to carry that baggage that we place on them. So
yep, yep.
let's do better.
Hey man, here's the self check. Would this decision still make sense if I didn't feel threatened by the other parent? Ask yourself that question, when you are looking in the eyes of, am I being emotional? Am I being fair? Is this in the best interest of the child? Ask yourself those questions before going forward. That way you can kind of self-check yourself.
So, in other words, if you feel some type of way about the parent, don't make the decision about the child.
Right, right. Has
Let's
nothing to
let's
do
let
with them.
those let's
Those are
let
two
those
separate
emotions
things.
run the thing,
Right, right. Two
and
separate
then
things.
take your time, simmer, and then make the decision.
Hmm.
I like that.
Exactly.
I like that.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
So let's briefly talk about silence as control.
Mm-hmm.
Because silence can be loud. I used to be, I used to live in that lane. I would just shut down, just be quiet. And
Hmm.
that's not healthy, you know. How do you feel about that?
Delayed responses, ignored questions, only replying when it's convenient, that's not peace. That's pressure.
Mhm.
And when you do those things, you're just kind of lighting a fire. You're just going back and forth. You're playing tennis. As far as I'm gonna get you back for that one. Like that one hurt. That one made me mad. That one made me feel a certain type of way. To me, allowing your emotions to be your co-parent is a recipe for disaster. Put yourself in a position to where you can sit, think these things through, communicate with the other parent so you can find out exactly what, again, is in the best interest of your child. Because if not, you're just bickering back and forth and you're just spinning your wheels and you're going nowhere fast.
So again, no ghosting, no putting people on infinite pause.
Hmm.
You're supposed to handle that. It's okay to take a quick timeout. 20-second timeout is cool. However, you gotta finish playing the game.
Those delayed responses, those, that silence just shutting somebody out, all that just kind of leaves holes and cracks of the foundation of you being a parent. Those holes and cracks also lead to manipulation from the child when they get older because they see exactly where the gap is with you guys. They see what you're not going to communicate about and what you probably will communicate about. Kids are very bright, very smart. They know how to adapt to certain situations and they'll use that situation to their advantage. You got kids and teenagers, they're always trying to get off and get away with something. One little brief misstep, and both of you may not know where your son or daughter is at 15, 16 years old, and they're all doing something they have no business doing.
Yeah, they're gonna
Uh,
live in that gap. They be like, oh, I found
Exactly.
a nice little hiding spot.
Exactly. Exactly. All I gotta do is tell my mom I'm gonna go do something. My dad ain't gonna call my mom and ask her and follow up because they hate each other. They're not gonna talk. I could be gone however long. Those gaps in those foundations, like I said, they end up being big issues going forward in the future, man. So close the gaps. Make sure you are communicating. You guys don't have to be best friends to communicate with one another. Just communicate. Let everybody know, hey, such as us left here at 5 o'clock, they should be reaching your destination at about 6 o'clock. Make sure you let me know when they do get there. Those things, man, they're invaluable for parenting. It's best for the children, like we said.
Okay, so to piggyback off of that, who decides what's necessary information to share? I feel like this is a big one. Typically, it's the custodial parent. So the
Hmm.
non-custodial parent needs to make sure that their post is covered.
Right.
Make connections with the teachers, coaches, whoever the child has a relationship with. Just in
Hmm.
case communication breaks down with the co-parent, you still are connected with an outside party. How do you feel
Right.
about that?
Man, in school, you had to put yourself in a position where you are, um, like I said, all lines of communication are wide open. That is not just with you two, with whoever else may be involved, whether that be another family member, like you said, a coach. Um, don't leave anything up for interpretation when it comes to a teenager. They'll fill that in real nice for you. You won't know, like, well, where did that come from? How did you end up over here? Oh, I thought I told you. No, you didn't tell me anything. Like, um, it's always important, but as they become more independent and move a little bit more without your knowing, it's important that you know all the little details because those are the ones that they kind of freely leave out. So,
Oh
get
yeah.
in there. Yeah,
They
you know
know
how
exactly
that go.
what to say and what not to say and who to say it
Yeah,
to and how to say it. They're creative
yeah,
real quick. Oh, it's an emergency. I gotta go.
yeah,
It
yeah,
wasn't. It
yeah.
really.
Nah. We know that because we've been there and done that. We've been
Yeah.
those teenagers where we kind of leaving up for interpretation. Like, well, what do you mean, mom? I don't. I was there the whole time. Like, nah, you weren't. Nah, we know we weren't, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's important to get those things shored up so that there's nothing uh left to chance.
And you need healthy boundaries because boundaries define behavior.
Hmm.
Control restricts access. We as parents need access to our children. We need to know what are they having access to.
Hmm.
Without, we're just walking around blindly.
Boundaries say, here's how we communicate. Control says, I decide when you get information. When one parent becomes the gatekeeper of information, co-parenting turns into co-management that never ends well. Man, the most frustrating thing in the world is to get secondhand information from a 10-year-old that doesn't really know exactly what all is going on. So you want mom or dad to be able to confirm things, get some of the paperwork. Now everything is digital, man. It should be so much easier when you get that flyer from the school, when you get something that's going on, it's not like when we were in school, we all had those papers crumpled up in our book bags, that our parents probably never seen until the last minute until we are going to school the next morning. But now that everything is digital, hey, send that to me. Oh, graduation date is on what time or what place and what's going on? Okay, well, I appreciate you sending that to me ahead of time so I can plan what I need to plan. Two different households, two different mindsets. We're all attacking these situations from different angles. So give me the benefit of the doubt to be able to attack it beforehand so it's not a last minute thing. All these things that are going on, man, it just makes sense. Like I said, it's helpful. It's a struggle when it's a back and forth and it's unclear boundaries, unclear situations, unclear information. Those are all things that you want to be at the most clear for everybody to understand and everybody to know what's going on.
And everybody wants that information up front. I
Hmm.
understand that there are delays, but if you got the email on Monday, don't tell me next Tuesday about it. Like, oh, it's due
Right.
Wednesday. Like, no, if you got the information last week, then please, as soon as possible, let's share that information. But this goes back to what we said earlier in the previous segment about having communication yourself. You need to be a part of that portal or wherever the information is shared, those dashboards at school
Hmm.
need to
Hmm.
have your own access point so that you can see these things for yourself. Don't rely on the kid. Don't rely on the co-parent. You have got to build these communication um, outlets so that you know what's going on.
How many times have you gotten a phone call um, at whatever time? Dad, I need $400. Like, what? And you're trying to get the
Now,
information, like, well, what's going on? Like, okay, well, let's see what we need to do. No, I need it now. Like, I was supposed to hand it in this morning, but I wasn't able to. Like, no, that's not the way. You're not getting anything from me like that. We need to make sure that I get the information and I can do what I need to do with the information so that I am timely with what it is that you need. Don't come with the last minute stuff, man. Nobody really operates well at that last minute, at the last minute. I hate that. I hate those phone calls because I'm not in the know. I haven't gotten the information. Mom or dad hadn't sent it to me. I'm the last to know, the last to find out, but I'm the one to fund it. No, we can't run like that, bro.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, man. Yep.
All
So,
right, let's transition to the next segment, which is peace or avoidance. Some people
hmm
say, I keep communication limited to avoid conflict. But
hmm
is that peace or is that avoidance?
Healthy boundaries don't avoid responsibility. Avoidance just delays conflict and passes the emotional cost to the child. So absolutely not, man. It's a healthy situation to make sure to keep your boundaries, but don't put yourself in a place where you think avoiding the situation or avoiding the other parent it's a peaceful situation because they're not in peace. They're in the dark. They don't know what's going on. Especially as dads, and a lot of dads out there that we may not be custodial parents, we might be non-custodial parents. That doesn't mean the information is any more or less important to us. We need that information that's going on from day to day at school. I tell fathers when I'm dealing with them all the time to make sure that you are, excuse me, very seen, very visible, especially at school. So that way it's easier for you to get that information if you're not getting it from mom correctly. And vice versa, man. That's where all the information is known. Make sure you get on whatever application that the school is on so you can see grades, so you can see um, um, field trips, so you can see important dates. All that is important. We can't sit back as men, as dads, and be like, all right, well, I didn't get any of that information. You have to be proactive and be able to get that information yourself because you can't just depend on her giving it all to you. You're not going to get it all. So in certain cases, maybe that's the case, but most times they're not going to give it all to you, and sometimes that may not even be on purpose. There's a lot going on as far as the that parent is concerned. So
Absolutely. Why rely on one person when both of y'all have access to the information?
yes, yes,
They be like, hey, did
yes,
you see this? Because kids, they like to hide in the cracks, like we said.
yeah,
They
yeah,
try to bury things all the time.
all the time, bro,
All the
all,
time.
all the time.
All right. So most importantly, we want to make sure that we are, keep the peace in your household, but do not let that turn into avoidance.
Man, look here. If the child benefits from the information, it should be shared. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Limited limited communication shouldn't mean selective communication. All things need to be shared, good, bad, or indifferent. Let both parties know. If you was teaching them, math and they failed that math test, let the other parent know. Like, "All right, you know what? You can't teach math no more. I got
Yeah,
this." You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah. Math
saying?
ain't my strong suit. I'm gonna
Hey,
let you
but
have that. You
when it
know.
comes to writing, I'm your guy. But
Uh,
math, that just ain't me. So we
you
need to figure this thing out, like I said, for the betterment of the kids. So
In other words, let's part the ego and let's do what's best for our family and our children. Let's not get so hung up on, what I can or I can't do. Like, come on, let's push that to the side and do what's best and move forward, man. Let's not let the emotions get the best of us in this situation.
another thing I want to mention as far as avoidance, a lot of times, you get sick of dealing with that parent, so you start sending messages through the kid. How do you feel about that? Kids being the middleman.
Mm. It's a situation where you can create a lot of angst and anger with the children. It's very stressful to be the kid in between two that can't get along, and you feel like it's on you whether or not your parents fall out, or one is mad at you, or the other is angry with you because of whatever has happened. It's a very selfish situation for a parent, and a very stressful situation for the child because they feel like they're always in the middle. Some even feel like that they are responsible for you guys not liking each other. Like if it wasn't for me, had I not come along, they would have been fine. So we don't want to put that on the kids because it's not their fault. We're big and grown. We should be able to communicate with one another without a bunch of issues going back and forth. So we definitely don't want to get the kids in the middle of it and start having them think all kind of different stuff about themselves.
Yeah, because ultimately you put the child in a situation where they have loyalty conflicts. They
Right,
feel like they have to choose. Or
right.
if I say this wrong and then dad's mad at me because I told mom something, or vice versa, mom's upset
Hmm.
because I did something out with dad. That's not cool. That is not cool. We should not be doing that. Absolutely not.
Hey man, I'm telling you, nearly half of co-parents report high conflict or low cooperation. So if you're only take talking when it's convenient, then you're part of the problem. You want to be in a situation where it's like I'm just going to talk about stuff when I'm not angry, and then when I'm mad, I want to keep all that stuff to myself and tell you I'm not talking to you. Like, look, ma'am or sir, we're not in a relationship anymore. We're co-parenting, so you can't lead with your emotions in this type of situation. It'll lead us all down a bad road. Let's take care of what needs to be taken care of, be grown-ups, and get little Johnny and little Sarah to where she needs to go, he or she needs to go.
What I like to do is treat the other like it's business. I remove all
Hmm.
emotion from, hey, this is straight up business transaction. This is what I do
Yeah,
for you. This is what we can provide for you.
yeah.
X, Y, and Z. All that in between stuff, I really don't care. Figure
Nope,
it out. Just
nope.
the facts. This is
Mm.
what we're dealing with. Just the facts.
Let's keep a professional relationship That way we won't have to worry about these feelings and emotions seeking in and kind of sullying the message from the jump. Let's not do that.
It's a real
Hmm.
good information. I know it was a brief turnaround, but I think that was a lot of nice little jewels in there that you guys can pick up on and hopefully incorporate in your day to day. At
Hmm.
the end of the day, healthy co-parenting isn't about control. It's about communication that's consistent, respectful, and child-centered. If communication is conditional, it's not co-parenting. It's just control, flat out.
Right. Right. Control doesn't have to be loud to be harmful. It can be quiet. It can be polite. It can be calm, and it still leaves lasting damage. Like I said, let's leave the egos to the side. Let's leave these fleeting emotions to the side. Let's take care of business and do what we need to do as co-parents.
So let's ask the right questions. Uh, a real question isn't, am I right? The real question should be, is my behavior building trust or reinforcing fear? Which one is it?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Kids don't need perfect parents. They just need mature ones. Let's come to the table. Let's figure out what this is, what it looks like. Like I said, man, let's move forward.
Absolutely. This was a
Hmm.
beautiful, beautiful conversation.
Hmm.
If this conversation hits home, sits with you, reflect on it, and most importantly, do better for the child caught up in the middle. Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you have any communication that turns into control. Hit us up. Let's talk about it. All right.
Man, what's that phone number, bro?
888-395-4474.
You can also hit us up at firmfatherhood@gmail.com or hit us up on one of our several social media sites, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. We currently have a co-parenting workshop that we got available. We still have coaching and mentoring for fathers out there. If any of these things sound familiar, any of these things that you've been through in the past or recently or currently, reach out, man. Hit us up. We can help you work through it and get you to a better place.
Absolutely. Until next time, this is Earl Wallace with Firm Fatherhood.
This is Stephen Worthy, man. We appreciate y'all. We out.
Peace.